Good morning, everybody. I think it's September 6th, and so we'll try to do a quick tour of everything. I mean, summer's winding down. We still have heat here in North Carolina. It's going to be like 94 today, 95 tomorrow, so I'm having to water a lot it still. So it's getting time. I bought me a couple of mums. I don't know if I'm going to get them planted or not. My mums have not been doing good here because it's partial shade, but my impatiens do good. I wanted to try to pan out. I do have a little mess, but I have my impatiens in the pot, and so I love my impatiens. So this one got really big last year. This one didn't do as well, but I don't think I put as much in that one, so I did them like in colors, like a little color scheme, and so these have just gotten massive. They love this area. It's like partial shade. It gets some sun in the afternoon. Threw some basil in there they'd bought from the grocery store, so I pick off that. It's close to my door. Made me a little fairy garden. I think I might have done this last year. Found a seedling in the yard, and so I got me a little Disney theme going there, like Minnie Mouse, Snow White, Tinkerbell, and Pluto, and all that. And it was out of a broken pot that I found, and so I took and added, did the pieces. So I had seen that, I don't know, on Pinterest or something, and so I liked that idea. And my strawberry pot, strawberries don't do well, and the herbs didn't do well, but I don't know what this plant is, but it's kind of the succulent family, so it likes it because it stays dry. I have my geraniums that's done well all year. They like this. Up the stairs is not as great this year. Last year I had a bunch of geraniums and it looked really pretty. I got one up there that survived because I just put them all in this one pot. But I added some sage that was given to me from my herb ladies. I was trying to save it and perk it up, and I really didn't have a place to put it. So then I have a few other things up there at the stairwell. So try not to bounce you around too much. Go around here, and me and my mother-in-law kind of share the yard. She has her side and I have my side. But see, I built this bed this year, and I've got marigolds have done well. I had hydrangeas earlier in the spring. They were real pretty with the pansies, so when it cools off I'll get me some pansies. I had some snapdragons that were real pretty, and a few of them's trying to come back out. A lot of them have died. I have some pansies that I transplanted from seed, but the squirrels have killed most of them, so I don't know how they'll do. Started them in like July, so that's got the water fountain there. This is some of my mother-in-law's stuff back here, kind of in the shade. Now I grew potatoes in here this spring, and so I guess I missed one. I still have a little potato that's coming up. So I thought I'd just do a flower garden here. I've got I think it's the Sweet Bells or $1 million plant. I planted some of them last fall in another pot, and they've lasted all year. So I just added this, the Purple Heart or Bleeding Heart. My nasturtiums didn't do well over here. I'm still learning. This is my second year of partial shade gardening here, and I see like this mum is coming back, and I cut it back, but I think there was some kind of bug that got on my mum, so I'm pulling most of them up. They're just not doing well, and so I'm starting to add some of the Bleeding Heart. I got this other plant that I propagated. I can never remember the name of it. You come around, this is kind of a little messy. This is kind of going to be my project. After I pull up my peppers, I'm going to make this into an herb garden, because right now I have, if you can see, most of my herbs are in pots, and so my mother-in-law don't like pots, so I'm trying to appease her too. It's a lot of watering, but this still gets dry. So my peppers do okay in partial shade. They didn't do as good this year as last year, but I had them in pots. So see, the mums look pitiful, so I gotta pull them up. This one is struggling. It's starting to bloom, and I propagated a lot last year, so they're just they're not doing well. I've got some lemon balm that I'm saving for my ladies in the herb group. I got sage, And then I've tried to propagate some other stuff from my herb group. Our pumpkin vine that didn't make it, I gotta pull up. Lemon balm in the pot. This is the one that I propagate, and I've got to cut it back. It's starting to look really bad. It is this. And so it propagated, you have to like scar it because it's woody, and it's a perennial, and it has a little scent to it, and I think it would do better in full sun, but I have a lot of partial shade here, so that's the way it is. I got herbs here. I'm gonna transplant more sage, lemon balm, another sage I'm trying to revive. I have a cat that kills all my catnip. There's catnip in there, and that's all dead. I got my chocolate mint and some Sweet Williams. Come around, more herbs, peppermint, my St. John's wort. Yeah. And come around here. Now this is I think a jasmine vine that was already here and moved in that my hubby planted. Let's see, and it's my mother-in-law's, but I planted some pansies there, and the squirrels have dug those up. I got the water. This one nasturtium's done good in my little fish pot. And I like it, but you have to water. It stays dry. I've got some rosemary that I propagated a couple years ago. But this is what I'm proud of. My ginger. Got my ginger root. I planted it in April. And so I'll dig it up next month. And so it's good for teas and pain and arthritis. And you could dig up a little if you wanted to. But I'm just waiting to let it grow as much as possible. So there's my ginger root. Then I got, now this basil starting to look bad because it's been in the heat all summer. I got, lemon basil. Bee, go away. And so we added this. I'm still working on this. I got this arch, and the solar lights don't show up that good because we got a security light or whatever. But I got to get more blocks because James got to dig all this out. So that's kind of, we're waiting for the heat to die down. In my circle, we added another level, and I'm not going to go no higher. So I got my bleeding heart that does great here. It comes back every year. It's in the Wandering Jew family. And I don't have a place to hang pots, really. So I had stuck a little bit of the vine in here, and then the squirrels kept digging it up, and I kept breaking it off. And so I did not know this vine, it has grown, and it looks pretty cool in a circle. It filled everything in because it's hard to grow stuff in partial shade. And it's free plants. I got my fern that I bought discounted for $5, and I got my caladiums. Next year I'm not going to do this. I'm going to put them somewhere else because I had thrown a couple I thought were just not going to come back up, and they did. Throw them in the ground, they come back up. So they look, I did not know caladiums look good with Wandering Jew plants. So that's kind of, caladiums come back. The Wandering Jew, I brought it in the house, and so I had some to start. Now, I don't have all this in the house. All this is grown this summer. Got some men I got to move around. Now, this circle I'm still working on. I got to get more blocks. And so I got like Wandering Jew in there, just as fillers, because I didn't get to do a lot this year. My mom had surgery, and so I was just kind of struggling what I could do. Changing. I've got the red brick that I'm adding, and so I'm going to take this brick and put it in my moon part. And so now this, I usually don't do beds in August, but we bought these bricks and I wanted to put something here, see what would live. And I had one plant that Sandra got me, this blue balloon flower, and it'll come back next year. So anyway, I just took some stuff I had out in the yard, my sage, I dug up a few rosemary plants. I got, of course, the Wandering Jew, and it just fills out nicely. I got my other plant that I propagated, and so I did a bed with buying no plants because one was a gift and all the others were in the yard. So that's something you could do if you just needed to stretch things out. You don't have to buy a lot of plants. So I did buy this one. I'll bring him in the house. This asparagus fern this year, more mint. Got to work on this bed. Sandra told me I could, so I'm gonna. Got I'm hoping that my palm will overwinter. We planted him this spring. The shoots did come out, so we'll see. Got more mint. I was hoping to catch, I got bees everywhere on my hummingbird feeders. I got this ivy overwintered. It's been there for a couple years. More mint. And this is like one of my favorites. Now I had the caladiums, and I'll put a lot of them in pots. I bring them in, and they go dormant, and then they come back out. Just kind of fluff up the soil, add some peat moss, something is good. And so I thought the wandering ivy looked good with it. And I had all this in the house, so I just kept breaking it off. And I had more plants. Now last year I had this, and this is in the wandering Jew family too. And it's almost like the bleeding heart. I left it outside. I didn't think it'd make it. It started sprouting out. So I kept breaking it off, and all this has happened. I mean, it's almost full for the whole year. And the only thing I bought, let's see, I had my phlox from last year that I bought. I bought some lemon thyme. I put the wandering Jew in there too. Got 2 lemon thymes. And then, now I did buy another phlox, and it dried up. So I'm going to have to move it because this pot's low. And this one dried up last year, and it's starting to come back. So I was trying to have so the phlox would flow on opposite sides. But I don't get a lot of sun back here. But what I've been doing when the squirrels bite things off, I just stick it back in the ground. You got to make sure the node is covered up. And now my whole water fountain is almost full. All this is just from stuff I'm sticking back in the ground. You know, hasn't cost me anything but a little bit of time. I compost in place so these tomato plants come up. I'm not going to get anything. But I'm just curious that they come up because this is like partial shade. It gets some evening shade. Let's see, I did add me a little water feature. I got my little solar water fountain going there, and I did a video on that. They're about $10 on eBay. And so right now you can see I don't get a lot of sun right here, but in the afternoon about 3 o'clock it will go up high about a foot. Got the bees getting them some water and coming around. Now I'm doing these pots, just composting in place. I got tomato seeds coming up. They're not going to make it, but I still find it amazing how you don't intend to grow stuff and then it still comes up. I've got this is some succulents. Now I have been volunteering at Daniel Stove Botanical, and they give you free stuff when they're throwing it out, and they look kind of bad, and the squirrels gnawed on them a little bit, but they've come out pretty good. And I don't know that they'll overwinter, but it didn't cost me anything. And I always have plenty of pots. It's kind of a junk area. And this sweet bell, I call them sweet bells. I don't think they're sweet bells or sugar bells. I planted them last fall, and they're still here. They've lasted all summer. Now I don't know if they'll make it again. I thought they were annual. And I have my aster. It has a little purple flower. It's fixing to come out, and there's the videos. The bees love all the flowers. I got some stevia. I'm trying to let it make it for my herb group. I think this is a salvia. Has a little purple flower, and it's mixed in here, and it's already bloomed, so it's kind of in the middle. I bought that distress like last year, so you know, you get plants for $1 or $2, and then they come back out. And so I think that is about the end of it. I'll try not to bore you too much, and then I'll end you with my beautiful plant fountain. So talk to you later, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.